Friend, I felt like God wanted me to get on and just talk about the whole, if He has set you free, then you are free indeed. And He wants you to be free all the way, not just in parts or in halves. And how actually a few years ago, He had been actually speaking to me about that very thing. And He had given me this word picture of what that can look like. And it was a picture of this eagle. And the eagle was actually bound to the ground, like a stake in the ground, by this big heavy rope that was around one of its legs. And this poor eagle that was made to fly high in the wide open sky was bound to this very short rope. And this eagle, it would go up and it could only go so far, and then it would have to fly back down. It was tethered to the ground, this thing that was made for wide open spaces. And then in the vision, the eagle finally realized what it had all along, and it was its strong talons. And it finally, after a long time of doing that same old thing and flying that same old pattern, it got brave and it cut through with the talons in one swoop. It just tore that rope to shreds. And then I was so happy, and just like this huge smile, I watched this eagle take off and flap its wings, and I was just so excited to watch it soar high into that wide open sky. And then my heart sank, because that eagle, it got to the place it always got to with the rope, and it turned around and it flew back down. It was still tethered by invisible things. So though it had gotten brave and it cut those things that tied and bound it, yet it was still bound mentally. But after a while of doing that same old thing, going so far and going back, the eagle finally took off and it soared out of sight and unhindered and free into that wide open sky that was always its place of freedom and the place it was always meant to be. And God spoke to my heart and He said, that is how so many of my kids live their life spiritually. You can't see the things that tether them, but they're tethered to these things, to their shame, to their pain, to all the stuff in their life. And they don't even realize that they have in their possession the thing that can set them free. That He has given us weapons, hasn't He? Just like He has given that eagle talons. And then they finally realize that, and they cut those ties that bind. But they don't cut it all the way. It still has power over them in their mind. So they still keep living in that same broken pattern, still being kind of free, sort of free, but not really free, not all the way free, to live a boundless life in those wide open places that I have created them for. But what wonder and what joy when they at last discover that I have set them free, and I have set them free indeed. And they take off and they soar on wings like eagles. Friend, that is what He wants for you. He paid the price so that you could conquer all those things that came against, all those things that try to trip you up and bind you and hold you back and hold you hostage. And He has also given you the tools to set yourself free through Him. But He also has said to renew our mind. And that as we renew our mind and we remind ourselves of what He says and who He is and what He has done, it sets us free to at last break those old same patterns. And so we were able to finally soar on wings like eagles. My friend, I don't know about you, but if He has set me free, I want to be free indeed, like free all the way. I don't want anything to hold me back or hinder me from flying high in the sky, soaring like the eagles do. Isn't that amazing that they can just go amazing places and do these amazing, wonderful things, all by being and doing what they are created to do? But how sad to think that they can be bound by things. God doesn't want us to stay forever bound, friend. He paid the price to set us free. He gave us those weapons that we can use to set ourselves free in His strength. And then He wants us to soar into all that He has already given to us, has already said is ours. So, friend, I hope that you will be brave and you will do everything that He's calling you to do to cut those ties, not only the spiritual ones, the ones that you can't see, but the ones in your mind that make you think that this is just the way it is, or that you've fallen too far and you've done too much and now you don't deserve to be free. Whatever those lies are that are binding you and hindering you, I pray in the name of Jesus Christ right now that they will just be cut off once and for all, and that you will be able to once and for all be brave and to fly on eagle's wings up in those places that God has already predestined for you, friend. And that you will live a life of freedom. And that you will also then go and be able to set others free, people that have lived in those places where they themselves have felt like they are bound up, that you'll be able to go and help them to attain their freedom and to soar on eagle's wings. I love you, friend. I hope you have a good day. I'll talk to you later.